Hi, I'm Lisa. Let's fix some very common grammar mistakes that even my advanced students sometimes make. Adding an S to words that should not have an S. Why is the word clothes with an S, but we cannot add an S to clothing? We cannot say clothings. And we can add an S to words, but we cannot add an S to vocabulary and slang. We cannot say vocabularies or slangs. Have you been making this mistake? And why can we say suitcases with an S? For example, I have 2 suitcases, but we cannot say luggages. We cannot say 2 luggages. In this video, you will learn some rules and exceptions for when to add an S to a noun so that you can fix your grammar mistakes and speak English accurately. And there will be a quick review quiz at the end to test your knowledge. Let's get started. Some nouns never change between singular and plural. You don't add an S even if you can count them. Let's look at fish. Sometimes it's possible to say fishes, but it depends on what you're talking about. Fish with no S is much more common. Even if you can count the number of fish, you would still not add an S. You would say, I saw 5 fish in the pond. They caught 3 fish, not 3 fishes. Fish without an S is both singular and plural if it's the same species. Fishes is used when you're talking about different species of fish, different kinds of fish. For example, the aquarium has many different kinds of fishes. But I caught 3 fish, 3 of the same kind, no S. Here are some other examples of nouns that don't add an S even if the noun is countable. Deer. We would never say deers. So 1 deer, 2 deer, 3 deer. We would never use an S. And do you know which other animals have that same irregular plural where you never add an S? Do you remember from your English grammar class? We can say goats, but we can't say sheep. So 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, 100 sheep, no S. That's an exception. It's just something you have to memorize. And another animal is moose. We can't say mooses. I saw a lot of moose. Let's look at these examples. I saw 1 deer in the forest. I saw 5 deer in the forest. No S with 5 deer. The farmer has 10 sheep. No S. And I know you know this one. Mouse. What's the plural of mouse? That's an irregular plural. We don't say mouses. We say mice. I think you knew that one, right? Let's look at the words suitcase and luggage. We can say, I have 2 suitcases, but we cannot say, I have 2 luggages. Luggage is an uncountable noun. Remember, we cannot add an S to uncountable nouns. Luggage is a general word for all the containers and bags that we use for travel, such as suitcases, backpacks, duffel bags, etc. But a suitcase is a specific type of luggage, and it's countable. Also, keep in mind that we can say a suitcase, but we cannot say a luggage because we don't use the article a with uncountable nouns. And you must use a singular verb with uncountable nouns. For example, his luggage is expensive. His luggage was lost at the airport. So we wouldn't say are expensive or were lost, but we can say his suitcases are expensive. His suitcases were lost. We use a plural verb. It's sometimes possible to change an uncountable noun to a countable noun by adding a unit word. A unit word is also called a partitive noun. For example, we can say a piece of or an item of. In this case, we can say a piece of luggage or 2 pieces of luggage. 2 pieces of luggage were lost at the airport. Let's look at the words suggestion and advice. Can we add an S to these words? Which sentence is correct? He gave me 2 suggestions. He gave me 2 advices. Suggestions is countable. Advice is uncountable. So it's incorrect to say advices. And I recently heard a non-native speaker say, Thank you for your advices. Have you ever said it that way? That's incorrect. You would have to say, thank you for your advice. And what if there's more than one advice? If you want to specify the number, in that case, you would say, he gave me 2 pieces of advice. You gave me 2 very good pieces of advice. Let's listen to the way some other people used it.
If I could give Keith a piece of advice.
Maybe it's a piece of advice, maybe 2 pieces of advice.
Now, these 3 pieces of advice are a good start.
And suggestion is a countable noun, so we can say, she gave me some good suggestions, but not, she gave me some good advices. Let's look at the next example. Let's look at word versus vocabulary. We can say, I want to learn more words, but we cannot say, I want to learn more vocabularies. You would need to say, I want to learn more vocabulary. No S. And a similar mistake is the word slang. I have heard my students say, I want to learn English slangs, or I don't understand American slangs. Slang is considered an uncountable noun, so we cannot add an S. We would say, he uses a lot of slang when he talks. He knows a lot of slang. Or we can say slang words. He knows a lot of slang words. Okay, let's look at some more very common mistakes. Let's look at the word item and let's look at the word equipment. Which one is uncountable? Equipment is uncountable. No S. We can say the gym has new equipment. And if we want to specify the number, we would say they bought 3 pieces of equipment, or I bought a piece of equipment. Equipment is considered a mass noun. A mass noun is something that consists of a lot of different things. For example, furniture. We have a sofa, we have a table, we have a chair. It's a group of things. So we would say, I bought 2 pieces of furniture. We would not say, I would like to buy some furnitures. Another one that's a mass noun is jewelry. Jewelry consists of different things. Rings, bracelets, necklaces, earrings. All of those are individual items, so you can say, I bought a ring and I bought a necklace. I bought 2 pieces of jewelry. Let's look at these 2 words, fact and information. They have similar meanings. Which one doesn't take an S? Information. And to make information countable, you can use the unit word piece, a piece of information. He gave me 2 pieces of information. Be careful about the word information if your native language is Spanish or Portuguese or French or Italian. The words are very similar. And here's a translation of I got 2 pieces of information in those 4 different languages. You will notice, unlike English, they all have the plural forms. However, in English, we cannot say informations. That's a very common mistake I have heard people say, especially if their native language is one of the ones I just mentioned. Let's look at the next word. How about homework? Have you ever said, I did my homeworks, or I have a lot of homeworks? That's incorrect. We cannot add an S to homework. We can say assignments. My assignments were difficult, but not homework. Let's look at clothes versus clothing. We don't add an S to clothing. Both clothes and clothing refer to what people wear, but they're used a little differently. Clothes we use for everyday conversation. I washed my clothes. I bought some new clothes. And let's make sure that you've been pronouncing this word correctly. The E is silent. And most of the time, the TH is also silent. It's very difficult to say clothes. Most people just completely eliminate the TH. So clothes and clothes sound the same. Let's listen to some native speakers pronouncing it.
Make sure your clothes are appropriate. I mean, notice how often we're actually wearing different clothes.
This is because the clothes you're wearing.
And some people sometimes pronounce a very little, very small TH. It's really minimal, like this. Clothes, clothes. You can barely hear the TH. Let's listen to that pronunciation.
Is absolutely not meant to be made into clothes.
Googlebot knows you have an online shop that sells clothes.
Now let's say it together. I bought some new clothes. You say it. So when do we say clothing? Clothing is a little more formal. We often use it like this. The store sells outdoor clothing, or they need food and clothing. And to make it countable, we say an item of. A shirt is an item of clothing. And now it's time for a short review quiz. You will see a sentence and you need to decide if it's correct or it's incorrect. Let's look at the first one. He gave me some good advices. Is that correct? No, it's incorrect. He gave me some good advice. No S. Let's look at the next one. Is this one correct? I bought a lot of new clothes. Yes, that's correct. Clothes. But the uncountable version of that one is clothing. With that one, we wouldn't use an S. Let's look at the next one. I have 3 luggages. Is that correct? No, it's not correct. No S with luggage. We would have to say 3 pieces of luggage. Let's look at the next one. He shared 2 pieces of information with me. Is that correct? The pieces part is correct, but no S. We would say pieces of information. Let's go on to the next one. I saw 3 deer in the forest. Yes, that's correct. With deer, we never add an S. That's an irregular plural. No S. Let's look at the next one. I finished all of my homeworks. Is that correct? It's incorrect. No S with homework. I finished all of my homework. Let's look at the next one. I'd like to learn more slang words. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Because with slang, no S, but with words, we add an S. And this one is a bonus question. I didn't teach it to you in this video, but I taught it in a previous video. So if you watched it, you know the answer to this question. I want to cut my hair because they are long. Is that correct? The hair part is correct. With hair, if we're talking about hair on my head, no S. But they are long. The R is not correct because hair is an uncountable noun. We have to change R to a singular verb, which is, because it is long. My hair is long, not R. And how about in your language? Is hair in plural? Do you use a plural verb with it? How did you do on the quiz? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and keep practicing. Take your English to the final level of fluency with my online courses. The American Accent course, the 400 Advanced Words You Must Know for Fluent English course, and the Phrasal Verbs for Fluent English course. Go to AccurateEnglish.com.